Hi, and welcome to another episode of Hot Takes with me, the Silver Fox. For an organisation that prides itself on being unbiased and fair and without any kind of political ambitions left or right, the BBC somehow seems to be completely partial and very anti-conservative and very anti-unionist. The reason this is because Douglas Ross was basically disallowed from having a recorded interview. This is the weekend of the Scottish Tory conference, and it would be within keeping of the BBC to allow the leader of the Scottish Tories a chance to be interviewed, post conference. After all, they've done it for Labour, they've done it for the SNP, so why not for the Tories? Well, the thing is, they offered him one, and they said if he comes on Sunday morning, they would be happy to interview him and give his chance to put his party's politics across to the electorate, and that's fine. However, because of the personal circumstances of Mr. Ross, his wife is a police officer, and she had a 7 a.m. shift start on Sunday morning, he asked, could it be pre-recorded? Therefore, still go out as part of the Sunday show, but just be recorded on the Saturday if that was at all possible. And they said, no, it had to be Sunday. Now, you have to wonder about this. Why would it have to be Sunday? Well, there's no real reason, especially when you consider that other people have had recorded interviews. Humza Yousaf, he was recorded. Kate Forbes, she was recorded. Anas Sarwar, he was recorded. And yet they're not offering that to the Conservative leader. Does that strike you as being in any way fair and unbiased? It seems very odd that one party should be singled out so very weirdly. Now, he requested it for Saturday afternoon, and he thought that the BBC would be able to meet those requirements. Seems reasonable, doesn't it? But apparently no. He comes, he's sitting there and he's basically not allowed to go on. And so this bigotry, this anti-unionist, anti-conservative bigotry by the BBC must be explained by its boss. I mean, Ross said he liked the conference. He felt the conference went well. He said they highlighted the things they want to do. They highlighted the problems they were facing and so forth. And he wanted a fair crack of the whip to be able to go on to television, have a broad stage to let people know exactly. But that ultimatum from the BBC, either you do it Sunday morning or you don't do it at all, is absolutely indefensible and wrong. And he shouldn't have to choose between his family or an interview, And so it was probably an easy decision for him to say, well, screw you, BBC. He is, after all, a husband and a father. Outside of the world of politics, he's a human being with family commitments. And family must always come first. And so it's just appalling of the BBC to do this. And it's like anyone, we all know you get so little time because of work commitments and things. You get so little time with your family that you have to treasure them all. And this is another reason why he didn't do it. And that's why he wasn't on there. And I just think it's something that the chairman of the BBC needs to address, needs to apologise for, and needs to suggest that Ross can come and do an interview at a different time, perhaps, or at least make up for it. But it is there. Ruth Davison, I think she's waded in this morning as well. And she said it was particularly poor of the BBC Scotland News, given they've previously agreed to interview others, to be recorded on the Saturday or the Friday in one case, and then played on the TV on the Sunday. And quite right, it's there. John Lamont, another MP, he said it was inexcusable. They're all saying it. Now, the BBC have responded, and they say the Sunday show always conducts party conference interviews on the day of transmission, although we're flexible about location and time. But again, that's bullshit, because Humza Yousaf's wasn't. Humza Yousaf's was recorded, so the BBC are just outright lying. I can only see this as bias. I can only see this as a bigotry against the unionists, against the Tories. I don't know if they've got something personal, maybe. against Douglas Ross. It could be. I don't know. Has he upset them? Has he called for the licence fee to be abandoned or some such? But it's certainly not right. It's just there, and it is outrageous. And he shouldn't have to be given an ultimatum like that. Now, subsequent to this, he took to X. I keep wanting to say Twitter, and of course, we still all know it's Twitter. But anyway, he took to X, and he put out this lengthy statement criticising the BBC for refusing this pre-recorded interview, and he's basically calling them out and saying that it was wrong and that he shouldn't have to choose. So fair enough, fair on him, good on him. Because it isn't the only example of anti-conservative bias by the BBC. They are forever doing it. And it's just one of those things where perhaps if during the interview on Saturday, they think if they interviewed on Saturday and something came out that shouldn't have come out, it gives him time to prepare any kind of response to it on the Sunday. But that doesn't really matter, does it? Because you're recording him and his responses there and then. So I don't know why the BBC would even have this. And it isn't right. Especially given, as well, they're a minority party in Scotland. You'd think the BBC would be mindful of not upsetting minorities. They're so bloody woke, But I think the BBC is now officially unfit for purpose. I think the defunding must continue. They must have all public money removed, abandon the licence fee, and if they want to carry on making programmes, they go to the market and they say, look, either you pay a monthly fee or we advertise, and let the market decide, and let people choose whether they want this biased organisation that is overly woke and is overly controlling and tells you and gaslights you into thinking how they want you to think. They control the news, they control the output, and when news happens that they don't like, they don't inform you. They hide it from you. And that, I'm afraid, is the world we're living in as far as the BBC is concerned. It's time to get rid of them. Anyway, let me know what you think in the comments. Should he have been allowed the opportunity to record and pre-record? Should the BBC lose its licence fee? Like I say, I certainly think so, and I think many others do. Anyway, we'll round that off there. Thank you very much for listening. Do let me know, as I say, in the comments. And until the next one, stay well, and I will speak to you later. Bye.